So we just talked about this, and well, OKC's first trip into the postseason in 2 years? Wait, it's only been 2 years?
That can't be right.
It's right.
Anyway, in their play-in game against the Pelicans, it was all about the chess match, halftime adjustments. The Thunder had a good idea of what kind of game plan the Pelicans were going to throw out, specifically at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. In the 4 regular season games, in which New Orleans went 3-1, SGA was really good, but not quite as efficient as he normally is, averaging 33.5 points on 45% shooting. The Pelicans doubled SGA more than anyone else in the league this season, and on top of it, have a world-class defender in Herb Jones, who individually did a stellar job on Shai. And from the opening tip in the play-in game, the Pelicans went straight to that game plan. They doubled and trapped SGA basically every time he touched it, trying to keep him above the three-point line, and also sending the ball into other players' hands. And you could say it worked really well. It resulted in the lowest scoring first half of the season for SGA, 7 points on just 3 of 10 shooting, and by the way, 0 free throw attempts. And SGA took 4 threes in a half, which is highly uncharacteristic of him, something he's only done in a half one time this season, against New Orleans earlier in the year. There were a few moments where SGA got what he wanted, but just didn't make the shot that he expects to make. But overall, the Pelicans did a good job on SGA. But teammates certainly did step up. Lu Dort had 20 points at halftime, Josh Giddey had 12. And SGA was intent on setting the table and not forcing the issue just to score on his own for the sake of it, knowing that those body blows now would soften up the Pelicans' defense for later.
The best players, I think, in the NBA and who have ever played in the NBA are willing to do whatever it takes to win games. And all that other stuff doesn't matter, especially this time of year. And that's what it was about for me, making the right basketball play and trusting my teammates. And as you can see, my teammates came through tonight.
Early on, I think he knew how he was going to get played, and he's got the poise to basically get the other guys going and be a screener and be a weak side spacer. And I thought he gave our other players confidence in the first half.
The third quarter, SGA scored 17 and had 25 total in the second half to finish with 32 in a Thunder win. So, what did OKC and SGA change at halftime? One thing was changing who the screener was. The Pelicans were trapping on every pick and roll in the first half, and OKC was using Jaylin Williams, this one, a lot. It worked better than you might have thought, too, with Jay Will slipping screens into the pocket and finding Lu Dort and Josh Giddey for open shots. And even a simple high screen from Dario Saric in the first half pulled 2 defenders over to SGA and left a wide open lane for a Saric runner. But obviously OKC needed Shai to get going to win a postseason game on the road, so they altered the approach a little. A lot of times it's just about changing the angle and location of a screen. This is OKC's first possession of the second half. Jay Will's screen is now under the three-point line and flat. SGA comes off it to find space at the elbow and hits a smooth jumper. That's a new tone and an early rhythm. And this play was probably bigger than you might have thought. SGA also looked to split the trap a few times now. As the second half went on, Josh Giddey was now a screener and/or whoever CJ McCollum was guarding. They either wanted to force the full switch or pull the trap out to where Giddey was open in the pocket and now playing 4-on-3. Flawlessly executed on this play for one of the biggest moments of the game.
A lot of the things that showed up in the game tonight are things that we've been trying to build, obviously through this season, but even before this season, a lot of this core has been together. And I thought a lot of those habits showed up tonight. We were able to lean back on those when we really needed them, and great carryover by the guys, not only with the game plan, but our base fundamentals.
The Thunder also isolated more with SGA, and even with the Pelicans trying to trap it, SGA stretched out the double and either found a pocket of space to attack downhill or pulled the double away to transport the ball to an open driver or shooter. And the times SGA didn't get doubled, he operated. Basketball art. And now that SGA had his rhythm going, along with his teammates in flow from the first half, everything was on the table as the game went down the stretch. So you got the whole picture from OKC. SGA attacking opportunities to score, but also maintaining trust and making the right read out of a double team to execute. Like this play, one of the biggest shots of the game. It came from the Pelicans doubling over to SGA, and him swinging it to Giddey, who swung it to J-Will. Biggest game of the season, a slow first half, but not overreacting, but instead adjusting. That kind of poise and game awareness is just uncommon. And more than anything, the Thunder have just been trained to play with extreme basketball intelligence as a group. They might be young, but they have been a highly intentional team about building daily habits year after year that can hold up to the red-hot fires of the NBA postseason. They are a smart team that does smart things. Checkmate.